Hello, I'm Beau.
And I'm Aaron.
And this is episode 11 of Old Games Plus.
Yeah.
Our Season 1 Imperfect Works covering Xenogears. If you're new here, which this is a really weird place to start on episode 11, but if you are new, please go back to the beginning and listen through. We have some technical hiccups through the course of this, but
just a little bit.
You'll get to enjoy the journey with us.
Yeah,
and,
we got it figured out.
Old Games Plus is we're going to take a different game every season, a game we played in our youth, and compare it to how we experienced it in our youth to how we experience it today.
Mm-hmm.
So, moving right along here, we found out that Seitan is an expert in hypnosis.
Yeah, he knows everything about everything.
Doesn't have to do an exam. He just kind of like reads the room. And he's like, yeah, that's what happened.
He's like, yeah, no, I can totally tell. You can tell by the distinctive hypnosis marks right here.
But yeah, Seitan is... here's the entry wound. Seitan is really starting to show himself. And it's not something I noticed when I was a kid. But it's something that when you're an adult, you're like, wow.
Yeah. Because he always has an answer. And
it's starting to get suspicious.
Yeah.
This is the part of the story where they're trying to make it be like, you know.
Because like he keeps having answers about things. It makes no sense why he would have answers. And it kind of got explained a little bit when... Right,
because we see him discuss... I was just about to mention that. Like, it's suspicious beyond the fact that he obviously has a relationship with the Emperor of Solaris.
Yeah.
It's suspicious beyond that. Like, there's this feeling. There's this... Does he or doesn't he actually like these people thing going on that's going to be going on for the entirety of the game.
Yeah.
Where basically he's an excellent example of what is his true motivation here.
Yes.
And he's very dedicated to his mission, don't get him wrong. He's going to finish the job he started, but what really makes Seitan
what really matters.
Yeah. What really matters to him? Why is this mission so important? This question is becoming more and more important. We're probably not going to hear much more from Rico until like the second disc.
Yeah, Rico literally is
just
there occasionally.
He had a great backstory. He has this great mystery about him that was just fantastic. And they were like, "We're sorry, but we need to make Quistis look hotter in Final Fantasy VIII cutscenes. So we're going to need to take more money." Did I say Quistis? I meant Renoa.
I mean, well, Quistis.
When I was going through puberty, I preferred Quistis.
She was the hot teacher.
She was she was the Van Halen character.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. She
hot for teacher.
Yeah, and I mean she's cool. I just it's just sad.
It is sad. And that's as much as I love Final Fantasy VIII. I love Final Fantasy VIII, but that is the game that gutted Xenogears.
It is. Yeah, it is directly to blame. But it isn't directly to blame, but the people who were in charge of everything, like they gave it all to Final Fantasy VIII.
And you can't really blame Squaresoft for that decision because it obviously paid off for them.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think...
But it was also a good sign of them making dumb decisions because, like, look at them now.
Well, I mean, I don't think that was a dumb decision. I think that was financially and business-wise one of the best decisions they've ever made.
At the time, yeah, but I like Xenogears more, so
funny,
it's a bad decision to
the
me.
Fall of Squaresoft coincides with Sakaguchi's... not forced resignation. Anyway, we can get into that another time. Jumping right back into the story here.
Yep. So we start off. Faye is basically in a coma. He's in the hospital at the the Thames,
and we know that some E-tones have arrived on the Thames.
Yeah. So we need to go talk to them, see if we can get access to their medical headquarters. So
because Ellie's not going to rest until Faye's better.
Exactly. And so you head down to the dock, not the dock, but the deck of the Thames.
Head up to the deck.
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah. Ooh, is it?
Yeah. Everything's below the deck.
Yeah. I think isn't the bridge on a tower though? I think the bridge is it's got like a little tower bit.
I'm not sure. Maybe.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I think it is. I'm going to go with it is for my head canon for now. But then you go to the deck and when you get there, you see that Margie is already wandering around asking people about this atone.
Yes. 'Cause she wants to help too.
Yeah. And so you talk to her for a minute and you hear that, and then you get... So this is another thing. Xenogears hard rights into mature crap at this point in the game. Like, it's giving nice hints about stuff.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get some doozies here.
Yeah, now it starts like not throwing punches anymore, because as you're talking to Margie, you look over and there are these two guys bothering a literal little girl, and they are trying to kidnap her so they can sell her.
Yes. This is and when you're a kid, you see it and you're just sort of like, these are bad guys.
Yeah,
but when you're an adult, you're like, these are bad guys.
Like, like you're the main villain of the game. But you see that your character, obviously everyone runs over to try and stop them.
Yes.
The guys try and give you lip, and then they get shot at.
Yes.
And so they run off when they see who's shooting at them.
And who is shooting at them? When I was a kid, I was like, man, this is the coolest guy in the game. But when I was an adult, I was like, man, this is the coolest guy in the game. So we are introduced, and his first line of the game kills me. Because isn't it... am I misremembering? Aaron is playing this for the footage currently, so he has a fresher memory even than I. But doesn't he like make fun of Satan the first thing?
Oh, that's not like the first thing, but that's like the first thing he does basically.
Yeah.
But his first line is talking shit to those guys who are trying to kidnap the girl.
And the girl turns out to be his daughter.
Yes, that's his daughter.
Him and Satan have something in common. Their daughters don't speak.
Yes, because of reasons. Although with Prim...
Satan's, it's because he probably psychologically abused her to where she can't speak. With Jesse's, it's because why speak when your dad's already this cool? Like,
yeah. But yeah, you get to meet Jesse, as they call him. Josiah is his real name. No one calls him that, though. But the very first thing he does in the game, other than shooting at these bad guys, is he immediately puts his gun to Ellie's head. And he calls her a dog of Solaris and tells her she better not move. Clearly a misunderstanding. And they clear it up almost immediately.
But is it a misunderstanding?
She's still wearing her
she's still wearing
outfit.
her outfit.
I mean, it's not a misunderstanding.
It's perfectly reasonable for him to come up and put his gun to this young woman's head. Like,
it's totally fine.
You know, I mean... Maybe when the liberals win, Aaron, we're not going to be able to go and put our actual shotgun that we wield one-handed.
Well, it's a lever action rifle.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he does like a cowboy
he's
repeater.
Cowboy, yeah.
And he one-hands that like a boss.
So, he does the Terminator. Thing. Go watch T2 if you haven't seen T2. So yeah, basically that young woman was his daughter.
Yeah, that's his daughter Prim. His second child, as we are gonna learn pretty quickly.
And so anyway, he comes over and he's not happy to see Ellie, and but Satan clears it up.
Yeah.
And that's when he immediately starts making fun of Satan.
Pretty much. He because right here is like we get another one of those random moments where apparently Satan knows everyone.
Well, and this guy that he knows calls him butt kissing Hyuga.
Yep.
So this is so he was about to kill a Solarian. He knows Titan's Solarian name.
Yep.
So we already know a lot about this guy. Yep. He's from Solaris.
Yes.
He is from Solaris. So
and his story gets even deeper as we go into this a little bit more because he knows everyone.
And what's really funny is this is the first character we've seen where, as a kid, I thought it was kind of like, oh, Satan, you old dog. But as an adult, when you read between the lines, it's kind of like, what the fuck are you up to?
Yeah. Yeah,
I see right through you, bud.
Yeah, it's he clearly knows kind of what Satan is about, at least to an extent.
It's not like Sigurd where it's like, oh, I'm just happy to see my old friend. Like it's kind of like, what's your play?
Yeah,
you know, and you don't see when you're a kid. It looks a lot like camaraderie and everything. It looks a lot like this guy's just busting his balls.
Yeah,
but as an adult, it's because you have these situations as an adult where basically I know you're up to something, and I'm not gonna dance around it.
Yeah,
and so and this is central to Jesse's character. Jesse is very much a cowboy character.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen that meme floating around where it's Bandit Keith, Senator Armstrong, I think All Might, and someone else, and it's be the American the Japanese believe you are, and that's Jesse. Yeah. Like the Japanese have such a high opinion of us that we cannot meet.
No, we cannot, and it's very. It fills me with shame at times.
Although Bandit Keith is obviously a bad guy.
Yeah.
There's nothing redeemable about Bandit Keith.
I saw a thing the other day talking about the senator in Metal Gear Revengeance and how he actually, I mean, if you really look at it, he was going to end the war. Like,
I mean,
he was going to end it.
Nano machines.
Yeah,
Huh?
he was going to end it.
My favorite thing is his explanation for why he's so tough and good at fighting is played college ball, you know?
But yeah, no, they clear up that misunderstanding pretty quickly, and then it's at that moment that the Atone we've been looking for shows up, and this Atone's name is Billy, and we learn that Billy is Jesse's child.
And we learn that if there's anything Billy doesn't like, it's the fact that he's Jesse's child.
Yes, more than anything, he hates Jesse right now.
As a kid, so he's apologizing. He's doing the very condescending thing where it's like, oh, allow me to apologize for my father because I know he won't. He's a sinful dog.
Yes.
And so Billy is really in. I love Billy's character. I just want to go and say that. But he's very holy roller. He's very holier than thou.
Yeah.
He's very... but he's polite. He's genuinely polite and kind to everyone else. But he's really dogging on his father.
He's very passive-aggressive towards him.
He's very passive-aggressive towards his father. And when I was a kid, I was like, what the hell is wrong with you? This is the coolest guy in the world. Like, he just saved this little girl, your sister, from being sold. I mean, what the hell do you want from him, man?
Yeah.
Like, what do you want from it? But as an adult, and again, we knew what we were getting into with most of this game as an adult, but as an adult, you could see where, like, the scene is supposed to... Because when Billy... What you don't notice when you're a kid is you notice Billy dishing it out, but what you don't notice when you're a kid is that Jesse's just sort of, like, taking it.
Yeah.
He's just sort of, like...
Yeah, he doesn't really fight back against it.
If he bites back against it, it's obviously like a joke. Like, I had to go get me a drink or something.
Yeah.
Like it's.
Yeah, he doesn't take the bait, so to speak.
And it's something that like I really hit me playing it as an adult. It's like Jesse is whatever it is that whatever opinion Billy has of Jesse, Jesse's not fighting very hard to change it.
No.
In that, and it doesn't sound like it, and it's not like I don't care what he thinks of me. I give up. It's a. You'll see. You guys will see.
Yeah.
But
but yeah, they talk to Bart, or not Bart, Billy. And they explain.
Hey, you're in E-Town.
Yeah, they explain the situation, and Billy's like, "Well, I can't promise anything, but yeah, sure, I'll give you an introduction. That's cool."
Yeah, we'll try. We are the church after all. I guess we should try and help them.
Yeah, this is kind of like what we do.
I guess. I mean, God, like I hate when they actually ask us to do the things we say we're going to do. I hate that.
But yeah, the only other takeaways from this are it's very funny that I find it funny. Margie and Billy are wildly interested in each other's religions and are very politely wanting to talk to each other about it, which is very pleasant to see because it's not how it usually
Facebook
works.
post where you see the Muslim priest and the like Catholic priest or whatever, and it's like these two met, and it's something that you don't have any proof that this actually happened, but it's it's that thing where it's like this is the way it should be, and it's like, but they're kind of designed where that never happens.
Yeah,
because these religions are designed to believe that they're the right answer and the only path to salvation. So
is their
you can
path,
see where people kind of get a little rabid about that if that's what they believe in their heart of hearts.
But yeah, that's kind of a cool moment. And then the other two moments we get right here are that I find very funny is Billy and Bart instantly do not like each other at all.
Well, it's
they
cool
are poking at each other constantly
because we've kind of lost this Bart over the past few moments. Bart's been too serious. He's been a man of the sea. But we kind of go back to like Billy's like, I like to live disciplined, and Bart's like, I like to rock. And then they're like, wait a minute, I do not like rocking. You need to follow the rules. And Bart's like, man, you're square. That sounds silly, but it's pretty much
it's very much it's that kind of thing. It's literally like Bart's like, man, this is dumb. I don't want to do this. And Billy's just like, you seem to be like a child. And Bart's like, what'd you call me? What'd you call me?
You're lucky I don't mess up my long, luxurious blonde locks on Tuesdays. I like how my Bart voice is the limousine voice. From,
I was about to say, yeah, it's limousine and tarantula. But so they end the conversation. We do get another call out of Jesse clearly knowing what's going on with Satan, because he's like, all right, I'm out of here. And he's like, Satan, I know I'll see you around.
It's literally Jesse. And what I love about that is when you're a kid, it just seems like one of those innocuous lines. But as an adult, him saying, "I know I'll see you around," is like, I know what you're up to, and I'm watching you now.
And it's so cool because this is another one of those moments where Satan doesn't really have a great answer because he's just like, who knows?
Yeah, it's kind of like Satan is like, okay, I did not factor on Jesse being on the tank. Like, I really love these moments when Satan didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
When all's not going according to plan and he has to, he doesn't panic.
Yeah.
Very important to note, he doesn't panic. But it's clear he's like, man, I wish this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, he's like, crap, I did not need this right now. That's probably the whole thing he's thinking the whole time that freaking Faye is unconscious. He's like, I can't poke at him while he's asleep. This is rather rude, Faye.
It's all up to the subconscious, and I mean, my Solarian education knows that I can't trust that postmodern crap. Billy's
agreed to take you, or to give you an introduction, and so you're given free roam. You can't do anything new except for you can visit the orphanage.
You could rack up some fucking monster AXP outside the Ethos headquarters on the Etones.
Yes.
So what's funny is you've accepted the help of these Etones, but the whole time you could just stand around slaughtering them in their gears for their sweet EXP.
Yes. And you get like EXP gains at this part of the game are nuts.
But they have the worst fucking spell in the game. That seal.
Oh my god.
Oh
yes.
my god.
Seal is awful. Thankfully you don't have to encounter for a super long period in the game, but while you do, it is the most annoying freaking thing.
These Etones, I think, and I think they could heal each other and repair each other's gears. I think
so.
So they're not super easy grinding. It's not Slimes and Dragon Quest. Like, you're working for this, but
it's not that bad either.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and it's definitely worth it.
So anyway, you go into the Ethos headquarters.
Yeah, because that's where you have to go, and you meet Billy there, and it is.
Oh wait, let's back up because you can go to the orphanage.
You can't do everything there yet because Billy's not there.
Oh, that's right. Never mind. Let's not back up yet.
Yeah, you
know what I'm going for.
Yeah.
There's one story from the orphanage that you don't have to encounter that I really want to tell.
Yes, and you can do that now. You don't need Billy's presence for that. You need Rico's presence.
We'll just cover that with anyway.
But yeah, you go to the headquarters. The headquarters is everything that people say is wrong with religions, especially things like the Catholics that are super well regulated.
So this is something, when I was a kid, all this just looked Catholic to me.
Yes.
Whether it was Nissan sect, whether it was Ethos. As an adult, one thing I noticed was that one of the things I noticed in this last playthrough was that the Nissan sect is every defense for Catholicism.
Yes.
Every defense for religion in general, through the lens of Catholicism, but as a whole, the macrocosm of religion.
Yep.
The Nissan sect is everything good about it.
Yeah.
Everything that's good about religion is focused right here.
Yes.
This is a good religion. This is what's positive. This is what the community, the finding meaning within yourself, yada, yada. The Ethos headquarters very, very, very strongly throws it in your face. This is all the things that we criticize this religion for. And we're going to get a heaping pile of specific criticisms here in a few game beats.
Yes.
So anyway, but you're hit with that hard. But Billy, my God, this is a good little soldier of the faith.
Yes, he is about it.
He is happy to see everyone. Everyone's happy to see him. They're like, but they do know. They're like, oh, Billy, you brought people.
Yeah, and one thing, we see almost instantly is people still give Billy crap anytime anything even remotely about his father is brought up.
Yes. So
because like the first thing that happens is he's like, yeah, guys, come back here. I'll show you where we'll put Faye. And this guy walks up and he's like, oh, hi, Billy. I hear your dad was doing stuff again. And Billy's like, he's not my father.
Yeah, and Billy's literally like, I can't answer for him. And Billy, and you see this plea, and basically it's like, and you immediately get this, because again, as a kid, you're just like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? Your dad's cool. Why don't you tell that guy to shut up?
That guy's like, it's like, what did Jesse do? Like he
literally existed.
Yeah.
Like, but as an adult, you kind of really get this sense that, like, does Jesse hate his dad, or has he been gaslit by this whole organization?
Yeah.
And the question immediately pops in your mind, why? why do they want him to hate his dad?
Yeah.
And so there's some gears turning at this point. You know, what is actually going on here? And so anyway, you take Sight into the back to tank, because that's what it is. It's a back to tank.
Yeah,
you take Faye to the back to tank.
Well, yeah. Well, it's a big old bed, is what it is.
Oh, I thought it was the
you're
the back to tank's later. Yeah, that's later. Yeah.
This is it's just a bed, and they have a computer hooked up to see what he's doing. You go down to the basement.
Yep, he's definitely been knocked out.
Yeah, he is definitely sleeping.
You did the right thing bringing him here.
We
know what to do with these sleeping types.
The basement. The basement is is very,
a lot of locked doors.
Yeah, a lot of locked doors, and it's very high tech. It's very Solaris looking.
There's a lot of tech down there, and there's a lot of locked doors. There's a lot of you don't belong here.
So you get Faye down there, and the doctor tells you, which I still do not get fully, but I guess it makes some sense, is that the only thing that's actually wrong with Faye is physical exhaustion. He's tired. And that's why he's sleeping after he was drowned in the ocean. And like part of me, I guess, gets that because like especially we're getting close to a lot of things happening with Faye that are big moments, right? But at the same time, it's like, I mean, yeah, he's been fighting a lot.
It's just kind of like it's kind of like the end of episode 3.
Yeah,
she lost the will to live. It literally sounds like that guy's like, you know what? I don't know what happened.
Yes,
but
it's like you don't freaking know, do you?
The guy looks at a readout from the EKG machine. He's like, yes, you can see right here, and then the screen just says "ism CP."
Yeah, it's like okay, dude, okay, like I need to see your degree now. Why did I come here?
I've seen this sort of thing a lot in my career. Yes, I believe the Latin term is tuckered out.
This will be the last time I go to the church for a doctor. I should have known.
So
it's gonna be leeches and cocaine. But Faye apparently is just exhausted, and so he's gonna be out for a little bit longer. But he's gonna be okay. Ellie wants to have some time just to sit by Faye and just be there with him. So you get to free roam, you get to explore the headquarters. There's nothing really interesting there, other than just getting more and more of it beat into your head that the Ethos are like blinded by their faith. You do get to go in their library, and they start name dropping the Babel Tower and giving you some potential lore on that. All the lore is very skewed, however. It just seems one-sided. It sounds one-sided.
But the church that Balthazar, if you'll remember, the church that Balthazar was referring to was the Ethos Church.
Yep.
The church that states that the church that's got this weird religious nonsense about evolution, you know.
And
so the Ethos wants you to believe that life evolved. I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it, Aaron? So that's the kind of crap this crazy religion is pushing. When Balthazar knows better, he knows we were created 10,000 years ago by God,
which is really weird.
We mentioned that when we were talking about Balthazar. It's kind of cool, like little so
script flipping.
The church is like, no, we've always been here. Like we evolved here. Like life evolved, but Balthazar. But what's really weird about Balthazar's proof is like, look, these are all the fossils I have. Yeah. That's not proof.
These are just the ones I found.
that's not how proof works.
It's like I understand what you're saying, that humanity seemed to have just popped up 10,000 years ago, that we didn't actually evolve, and that our skeletons haven't evolved since then. I get what you're saying, bro, but you think maybe this is just a bad cave for fossils?
That's like me reaching into the fridge and being like, I've got 4 cold beers. And I was like, these are the only cold beers in the world. Simply because they're the only ones I can approve in that exact moment. But anyway, this is the church that Balthazar's talking about. And it's important to note that Balthazar was like, they're a bunch of fucking liars.
Yes.
And central to their belief is the idea that man rejected like God's paradise, basically, which is how we wound up like this.
Yeah, and they also
and they're also the organization, if you remember, that are in charge of excavating the gears.
Yes,
and they're the only ones allowed to do that.
Only ones allowed to do it, and they their whole like faith side of it, in terms of like the rejection of God and why humanity is where it's at. Apparently, according to the Ethos, it's all Shivat's fault.
Yes, it's all Shivat's fault. So
yeah, it's all they're doing. They were the ones that did it.
So let's line up the facts that we know so far. when you're a kid, you're not getting all. When you're a kid, this is one of the moments that really bogged me down, and I just sort of like went through it because
I kind of like I skipped talking to a lot of people when I played through this when I was younger, mainly because I very rarely have ever had time for a lot of religious crap.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know. There's so much here to take in that it's kind of like very mood setting for the ethos.
But as an adult, we're starting to connect dots here. Okay, so they've got a super technologically filled basement.
Yep.
They're the only people allowed to excavate gears.
Yep.
They're the people that run the tournament in Kislev with the express purpose of collecting data from that tournament. They distribute these gears to both sides of this war that's never been a secret.
Yep.
We're starting to make some connections.
There's some weird fuckery going on here.
So we're about to see another responsibility of the church.
Which
I don't know. I don't know that it's the exact next story beat, but the extermination of the Reapers of the Wells.
Oh yeah. So that's basically getting ready to happen. Yeah. Well, they've already talked a lot about that. Like Billy name drops it. The people at the church name drop it.
There are mutant zombies in the world that are the church calls them Reapers, but
they're also called
name
Vells.
is the Wells.
Yeah,
or Vells, I suppose would be the proper pronunciation.
Considering where all this came from, I'm assuming that the W would be pronounced like a V.
So. It's the E-Tone's chief responsibility is the extermination of these things.
Yeah, think
this is why
Priest, the manga Priest.
Yeah, this is why Billy's packing heat.
Yeah. A lot of heat too. He has it up his sleeves literally.
Yeah. So
but we're getting ready to really dive into that.
Billy's about to make a house call.
But yeah, so after a little bit, Illy gets you, and you're good here. So the gang decides they want to thank Billy, but Billy's already left.
He went to an orphanage that he runs.
And so everyone decides to pack up, and we're going to go visit Billy at the orphanage.
So while we're getting strong evil Catholic vibes from the rest of this church, it's Billy is a man who truly believes in the ideals of this faith.
One thing that, obviously it's instantly clear for me and you because we've already played the game a couple times, but even without that, it's very clear in a lot of ways that Billy he's a true believer among charlatans.
Yes.
And that's something that can be both frustrating about his character because he is a true believer and he's so gung-ho about it, and
yet extremely endearing.
Yeah, because he's a man who honestly believes all of this, and he believes the good that it's supposed to be doing.
Yes.
And it ends up being very sad for Billy ultimately. But
absolutely.
But yeah, no, you go to the orphanage. I don't remember why I made this note, but I said it's an orphanage. It kind of sucks.
The kids are happy here.
Yeah, they're all doing great. They you can play on the seesaw with a kid. You can get in their badge by herding chickens, which is fun.
These kids love Billy.
Yeah, every last one of them is constantly talking about how awesome Billy is.
Yes.
So that's about all there is to it, except for two things. One is to actually continue the story, and the other is the little side note.
Yes.
That will only trigger if you have Rico with you.
I missed it as a child, but yes, if you have Rico with you, you encounter a child that's extremely bitter against his father.
Yeah, he's playing with a bell, and he's like, my dad gave me this bell, and he said, this way I could always remember him, and he's gone away, and he's going to come back one day, and it's going to be great. I'm not going to be in an orphanage anymore. And then Rico's like, oh, I know that bell. This isn't good.
Yep.
And the kid recognizes the bell, and he's like, what the fuck? That's my dad's bell. Why do you have my dad's bell?
Yeah.
And this is the moment when Rico puts it together about Red Rum, what Seitan already knew.
Yes.
And didn't tell anyone because,
it's Seitan.
Yeah, it's Seitan. But this kid's dad somehow was Red Rum. We're not given any actual, this is how it happened yet. But this kid's dad became that monster, and we murdered him in a sewer. And Rico tries to tell the kid, look, your dad's gone far away. He wanted you to have this bell, though, And the kid has the quickest, stages of grief there is. But it makes sense too. He gets angry and he's jaded and he's mad. He's like, why you freaking left me here? Are you kidding me? Now I'm stuck here alone. And the kid he has a couple moments of silence, and then he's just like, I got my dad's bell though. Like I can remember my dad with the bell.
Yes.
And it's like it's one of those things where my first playthrough, granted I don't remember my first playthrough perfectly, but I did not remember.
I didn't trigger this. I just flat out didn't trigger it.
I don't think I triggered it either because I never had Rico in my party.
Yeah.
But whenever I did first run into this, it's not something I expected to ever have a callback on. Was Red Rum, a random monster in a sewer.
Which just shows the care and the energy and the absolute just like it's. We had a discussion about this the other day in the Discord, in one of the private chats in our Discord, and I don't like the term world building.
Yeah.
It just feels too sterile. And I thought about it when I was thinking about I was trying to explain Tolkien's approach to the Legendarium to someone, and Tolkien never would have used the term world building, but he would have said, I'm creating a mythology.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Takahashi and Saga were doing. They were building mythology, which is much, much different from world building.
Yes.
You're creating scenarios and answering the questions you come up with, whereas world building feels more like you're going down a preset checklist.
Yeah.
Is the connotations the words get. Of course, these are neutered words. You can use them interchangeably, but that's the connotation it gives to me. And I really feel like they just created a living, breathing world where I feel like games right now focus on choice affecting everything. You got to have the choices that affect you. You got to have these choices that have these far-reaching consequences, and they don't really. It's a video game.
They never do.
There's only so many things you could possibly do. But Xenogears made me feel the weight of my actions as though I chose to do them.
Yes.
Without giving me any
even though
choice
you
but
didn't
to
have
do
a
them.
choice. Yeah.
But it made you feel the weight of the actions much more. Like this has much more impact than picking whether or not Caden or Ashley dies on Vermeer, because it doesn't fucking matter who dies on Vermeer.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Do you want to wind up romancing one of them? It's literally the only decision that's going to come of that. And it's... Or who's going to wind up shooting Udina in 3?
Oh, yeah.
So I love Mass Effect, by the way. Mass Effect's one of my favorite game series of favorite game trilogies of all time. Let's not talk about Andromeda. But
I really liked Mass Effect, but honestly, like when your power of choice is literally just, does this character die or do they not die here? Meh.
It's not what the commercials made you feel it was going to be.
Yeah.
Excellent gameplay, though.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing gameplay. So anyway, after that, we're going to take Rico and we're going to put a pin in him.
Yeah.
We'll talk about him again on the second disc.
Yeah.
This is a great character with a lot of pathos to him, but we're not interested
this
in that
isn't
right
his
now.
time. This isn't his time.
So we gotta make those feathers swirling around Renoa look better in FFA. We don't have the money to put in this character, so we're gonna put a pin in him and we'll come back. So anyway,
but you
find Billy.
You meet with Billy, and you thank him, and he's like, "Well, that's cool of you. You didn't have to do that, but I appreciate it." And then he gives you kind of the lay down of the land. And
it's kind of clear Billy's just kind of like, we're kind of done here, guys.
Yeah.
Like, you're getting that vibe. Like, as a kid, I just thought it was like neutered RPG dialogue. But as an adult, you realize none of this is neutered RPG dialogue. They put too much care into this game. And Billy's just sort of like, well, I'm going to be polite to you because you're here.
Yeah.
But like, when you're ready to not be here,
that'd be cool.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, he doesn't really care yet. He's just being polite. Although that does change really quickly, because while they're talking, Sigurd runs in, and he's yelling about how a humongous ship just appeared on their radar.
And boy, did you think Bart disliked Billy before? Because what does Billy do when he sees Sigurd? Hey, Siggy.
Yep, he knows they're bad. Yeah. And it's so funny because throughout this whole thing, he's like, "Hey, he's like, Siggy, is that you?" And then Bart, it doesn't even give Bart a like pictured text box. It's just like, "Did you call him Siggy?"
Yeah,
and it's literally Bart off in the court like muttering. He's like, "What did you just call him?"
Yeah, it's so good. And so Bart doesn't like this, and it's very clear that Sigurd was around a lot when Billy was a kid. We're not really told in what capacity. But Billy has a lot of. This is the only person outside of the church that Billy has been like, "Oh boy,
yeah,
I'm glad to see Siggy.
Yes,
this is cool."
Yeah, and this is
like, I got guns, Sigurd. I got guns. You want to see my guns?
He's like, "Look at this now.
This is my orphanage."
And and
Sigurd's like, "It's really weird that you have an orphanage."
And he's like, "This is freaking odd, my guy." But we get to learn here because Jesse comes in too, and we learn here by sight, because Sigurd doesn't recognize Jesse at first, and Seitan tells me, he's like, dude, this was our senior at the element when we were in the elements.
Mm-hmm.
And so now
we know Jesse was an element.
Yes, and he was higher ranked than Seitan and Sigurd.
And what's funny is I don't know if the game ever goes fully into it. I don't remember, but Perfect Works tells us why Sigurd has no idea who Jesse is by looking at him.
Yeah, the game doesn't. The game kind of the only thing the game gives us is just that, like, oh, it's been a while and Jesse got old.
We'll get back to this. I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this off screen. We choose whether to tell the listeners, because it really does. Since I learned it from Perfect Works, it doesn't really affect what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Sigurd's like, oh man, Josiah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love that, like, Seitan was Hyuga.
Mm-hmm.
Sigurd's just always been Sigurd, apparently.
Yes,
and
he didn't change his name.
Jesse's like, I'm not Jesse, I was Josiah.
Yeah.
Like,
it's so good. But, like, it's so funny because, like, as soon as Jesse sees Sigurd, he's like, oh, this is great. That ship out there is yours, isn't it? And he's like, yeah. He's like, Jesse's like, you got a bar in that?
Yeah,
you got
exactly.
a bar? I bet you got a bar. Let's go. We're going to go drink. And Sigurd's like, I really don't know if we should go.
And Billy is like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Drinking again, that is just like you. And you know what? Everyone gave me hell about what you were doing when I got back to Ethos. And he was like, I was literally just on the Thames, like, shopping or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, you know what? You need to go shopping where my friends can't see you.
And Jesse's...
And again, Jesse's just laughing it off like, you're not going to begrudge me for just going after a drink. He's laughing it off. He's almost sort of feeding it.
Yeah.
He's almost sort of like, yeah, well, you know me, I'm just a dumb drunk.
Yeah.
Like, it's sort of like a, you know.
It's like, it's almost like, you can't really tell if it's like he's actively trying to push the button or if he's just like giving up on the fight. And he's like, yeah, I'm drunk.
It almost seems like so like when you're a kid, it just sort of like, you're like, man, he's who he is. He's not going to lie for nobody.
Care.
But as an adult, like, I feel like it's a Jesse on it, like what I got from it based on what I knew about Jesse and based on this most recent playthrough, what I was seeing through it through the eyes of an adult going through what I've been through, it was Jesse honestly believes it's better for Billy to believe this.
Yes.
He's like, you know what? That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. This is if this is what motivates you to be the best you could be. And another thing is Jesse clearly doesn't like the church.
Yeah, very much so.
Clearly doesn't like the church. We've already got that. And Billy tells us all the times, like, you always rejected the church. You don't believe in the church and everything. And we're starting to get a feeling that I started to get a feeling that, like, Jesse's like, you know what, like, even if I told him why I don't like it, he's just going to shoot it down the moment I say it.
Yeah.
It's going to do no good arguing with him about this. Let him see. You know, let him see. So
the only way he's going to believe it is if he sees it. Yeah.
So anyway, Jesse's like, we're going to the bar. Sigurd is like, I don't drink. And Jesse's like, well, whatever.
Yeah.
And they go out. And Billy's like, man, it was good to see Siggy.
Yeah.
And Bart is kind of like, listen, man.
He's like, don't you fucking call him that again.
So,
yeah, it's so good there. But yeah, so Jesse drags him and Seitan off, Sigurd and Seitan off with him. We get a brief moment.
So the elements are gone. Note that the elements are gone.
Yeah, and as soon as they're gone, a bishop shows up to visit Billy.
Oh boy, you thought he was excited to see Siggy.
Yeah,
Billy is like, oh hey, Dad. I mean, Bishop's sorry.
Yeah,
but is it okay?
Yeah, is it cool?
Is it cool?
Can I please?
Is it cool?
I've been doing this for a while.
Bishop Stone is the male role model that Billy assigned himself.
Yes.
Bishop Stone is everything. Bishop Stone represents everything that Jesse is not to Bill in Billy's eyes. He is the anti-Jesse.
Yes.
This is a great steward of the church, and he has the most innocuous, kindly old man for his portrait.
Yeah, he's got like his eyes closed with a little smile.
It's what's oh my God, I really think that that guy in Full Metal Alchemist ripped off Stone's design.
I can see it.
And that's the same kind of thing. We were led to believe that he was this kindly old man, and he turned out to be the worst character on the show.
Yeah.
But
yeah, Stone is, and all the kids at the orphanage love him. Like everyone loves
if Billy
this
is
man.
Dad, Stone is Grandpa.
Yeah.
Everyone likes Bishop Stone.
Yeah. And he, and it's weird. Like, even as a kid, I felt like it was weird.
Yes. Even as a kid, it's very clear that this is a little too good.
Yeah.
And as an adult, it's just dripping with it.
Yeah, he's just too.
In his dialogue
everything.
Dialogue back then was so, it was either shittily written or it was so well written because they didn't have voice acting to emote for us.
Yeah.
So you had to read context. You had to read between the lines.
Mm-hmm.
In Stone, you could just feel the fake.
Yes.
You could read the fake. I mean, you guys know how like preachers and stuff get.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like I'm not saying all preachers are like this. I'm saying there are preachers that are like this, where it's that very fake, very, very publicly polite.
Yes.
You guys get what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
you read that in Stone's dialogue. But Stone came by to tell Billy something. This is not a social call.
Nope. He's like, hey, there's a ship that had a Reaper attack, we think, and you need to go deal with it.
And Billy's like, oh man.
He's like, this is what I do.
Bishop Stone, you came to tell me? Like, yes. Can I hug you before I go? And Bishop Stone's like, absolutely not, my child.
Go with God and go away.
Oh my God, he's the preacher from Don't Be a Menace. Don't ask, no questions.
Just kill the Reapers.
He's got the toothpick in his mouth. That movie's so good.
Oh
anyway, so Billy's like, yeah, I'm gonna go kill the Reapers, and everyone's like, hey, we're in the neighborhood.
We'll take you there. We got a boat.
And so Billy's like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, he doesn't want to at first.
He's like, no, I can't impose. I really want these people gone.
He's like, no, I can't ask you to do that. And Stone's like, Billy, it would be rude if you turned down their offer of kindness.
It's
and
weird.
Billy's like, oh, you're right. Yeah, that's okay.
It's weird because everyone else is like, oh, Billy, you brought outsiders. Oh, Billy, you brought outsiders. And Stone's like, outsiders. Fantastic,
Wonderful.
Billy.
Yes, quite.
Wunderbar. Because we're getting creepy vibes off him. And how do you really sell it on creepy vibes if you don't feel like writing? You make the character German.
Yes. So they get him to agree, and you go back to the ship. There's only one problem. The first mate is not on the bridge. He is down at the bar.
Because he tried to keep up with a real cowboy, bub.
Well, he didn't even want to. That's what's funny.
Yep. That's the thing. Is because the best way to get drunker than you've ever been in your life is to casually agree to drink with a hardcore drinker.
Yeah. And
take everything they offer you.
Yeah. And actually let them talk you into another one. Yeah, it's the worst decision you'll ever make in your life.
So Sigurd's drunk as hell.
Yeah, this scene is awful in some ways. I've forgotten some of the dialogue. So most of it's not that important.
When I was a kid, I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, most of it's whatever. But so one of the things we were introduced with is Jesse is talking to Sigurd and Seitan, and he's like, yeah, Billy cried a lot when you left, Sigurd. And Sigurd's like, oh man, I didn't. God, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I mean, I didn't want to leave him. I wanted to be. I had to go do my thing. He's like, I'm sorry. That sucks. And then Seitan is like, yeah, it's funny. Carr did the exact same thing whenever you betrayed him. He goes, his misanthropy has gotten even worse because of that, Sigurd. And Sigurd's just like, I didn't mean. Sigurd's drunk.
Yeah, when I was a kid,
they're laying this shit on him.
When I was a kid, I just thought there was those funny drunk guys talking. I was probably skipping a lot of dialogue.
Yeah.
But as an adult, it's because it almost seems coordinated.
Yeah.
Between Seitan and Jesse. And it's hey, you remember our dear friend Carr that we already established that we both agreed was just kind of misguided and it's gone too far? Actually, I believe that his psychosis was brought about by you by you doing the thing I encouraged you to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
By betraying him. Yes. And Sigurd's drunk off his ass and he's getting hit with all the stuff that he probably thinks about nonstop as it is, And what the hell? That's what I kept thinking when I read this again, when I played it here recent. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you, Seitan? I know you like manipulating people, but damn, dude, this is heartless right now.
So in walks the gang.
Yep.
The gang walks in on this conversation.
Yep. And they don't really get a chance to
follow up on any of this.
Follow up on it because Billy just starts giving Jesse a hard time.
He's like, look, you got Siggy drunk. Siggy's one of the adults I've assigned perfection to. You can't show me a side of him I don't want to see. I'm really on the razor's edge right now, bud. Psychologically, all right. I am a canonically 16-year-old religious fanatic that they use to execute mutants. I'm running an orphanage on my own. I'm carrying a lot of weight I don't need to.
There's a lot going on here. So Sigurd passes out. And the rest of this part, there's not a lot going on. You get more of like Billy doesn't like Jesse. He's mad that Jesse made Sigurd drink, and that's like, how dare he make Siggy have a drink. But then it kind of goes from there. You have to wait for Sigurd to sober up before you can do anything else.
Yeah.
So one thing that happens though is during that night, Billy's chilling out at the orphanage, and Jesse comes in, and Jesse's still roaring drunk, and they get into a little bit of a spat, and one of the things that Jesse tries to tell Billy is that he needs to get out of the church. He's like, you don't actually know. You need to get out. Your mother died in vain. And
this is where Billy
like loses his cool right then, because how dare Jesse say her name? You're not even my real. He actually goes so far as to say Billy is not his, or Jesse is not his father.
Yeah,
he refuses to believe it. He doesn't believe it. But Jesse's just like, whatever, and he just like walks out drunk and like doesn't care.
Jesse does not elaborate on why Billy needs to leave the church. That's important.
Yeah, he doesn't elaborate on that, or he doesn't mention anything else about the mom, about why her death was in vain.
Yes.
But we get to learn more about that, thankfully. So the next day, the only funny thing is you can talk to Margie. From this point on in the game, anytime you talk to Margie, you can switch your party members.
Yes.
This particular time, she makes a joke basically about how her and Bart used to play doctor, and Bart is like, "Do not fucking talk about that," and she laughs it off.
I forgot, dude. The things that Richard Honeywood got away with in this translation,
because she basically, like, they're talking and she's like, "Man, this reminds me about the time when Bart and I used to dare each other too," and he cuts her off and he's like, "Hey, don't talk about that," and she just giggles, and it's like, someone's been playing doctor. Like, it's like, I don't know, my boy playing doctor.
When I was a kid, I thought it was just dumb kid bullshit they were talking about. But as an adult, it's very clear. Like,
it's very clear. Like, they weren't daring each other. They go pick up the frog over there.
Yeah, that's kissing cousins.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah. I mean, they are patrolled.
It's weird.
Yeah,
but anyway, so you get to go to this well ship.
Yeah. You do get a quick like rundown from Billy. Billy gives you he tells you how his guns work. Whatever. It's not hard. He makes fun of Bart for having a gun as a family heirloom because Bart's dumb and doesn't deserve guns, basically, is the gist of it. The only thing big here that happens is we get Billy's backstory before we go to the boat. Long and short of it is that Jesse left them when they were 8. He didn't really know why, probably because of business. When he was 12, they got attacked by Reapers, and Reapers killed his mom. Bishop Stone showed up just in the nick of time, to kill the Reapers.
So Bishop Stone just happened to be there for Billy at the exact right moment.
Yes.
So
perfect timing. Literally perfect timing. So Billy immediately is like, you know what? I'm following this dude.
And this is why Bishop Stone is why Billy's in the church. And we see that Billy doesn't really worship the church. Worship Stone.
Yeah. And the church is just an extension of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because to be like Stone, he has to be fully committed to the church.
Yep.
So,
and we learn, so here he left Prim, his sister, left her alone, father like son style. And she hasn't spoken ever since.
Yes.
At this point. He comes back later, sees that she doesn't, like, after he's grown up, like, his sprite is the adult, the sprite we know of him. So it's been like, 8 years almost. Well, not 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Prim doesn't talk up. Jesse shows back up in their life at this point. Although Billy really doesn't think that it's his dad. He can't believe how the vague memories he has of his dad as a child is this loudmouth braggart.
Yes.
The only other thing that really is big here is, and this is, I was kind of talking about how, like, Xenogears is going to start dropping some bombs on us now.
Heavy stuff.
And like, I didn't even understand what this meant my first playthrough of this game. But Billy then like laughs. He's talking all this trauma and he just kind of gives one of those sad laughs and he's like, it's gonna sound really dumb, but I actually was gonna sell my body to get money to take care of Prim.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and Bart has the bro moment here where he's like,
Bart
"Are you
is not about
He's like,
it.
"Are you kidding?" He's like, "What?" Like,
yeah. Bart goes on this long speech about how you can't get some things back, kid. There are some things you can never have back, and that's one of them. He's like, don't you ever talk stupid like that around me again. If you ever need anything, you come to me.
And Billy's kind of like, well, this was the past, and I didn't do it, so chill out.
Well, what's funny, Billy. What's funny is like Billy's like, yeah, but they were offering 8,000 gold a night, and Bart's like, I don't. Do I need to slip? And it's funny because he goes on this long thing about how, like, no, you come to me. I can give you food, shelter, water. I got you. And Billy at this point is like, maybe you're not as big of an asshole as I thought you were.
Yeah, Billy's sort of deigning to think that Bart might be an okay guy. Because Bart, with this stranger who he didn't even really like,
immediately like defended and tried to like offer him everything he had.
So yeah, what's important is what's important here to note also is that Prim doesn't share Billy's hatred of their father.
No, Prim loves Jesse.
Prim
she is about
absolutely loves Jesse.
And that's another sticking point for Billy. Is he doesn't understand why his sister always wants to be around Jesse, even though he was the one who was here. He was the one who raised her. He's the one who's been fighting for her and all this other stuff. He gets very like it's just another. I don't know.
It's just another thorn from Jesse.
Yeah,
it's just another thorn for him to.
Yeah, it's a real problem for him, and he can't stand it.
So anyway,
but here, this is where you get to the ship. Not much happens on the ship. You go in, you investigate it. You have to fight. You fight what's it called? Bloody. Who looks exactly like Red Rum.
Exactly like Red Rum.
Kill it, and the day is saved. Except, oh no, now there's a giant Reaper outside
that comes up from the ocean. Yeah, like a kaiju. So.
And it's cool. The coolest moment is that we learn that Billy uses slave labor from the children, and they have to launch his gear for him whenever he needs it.
And it's one of the goofy, silly moments because the
really
kids
is.
have this like
they use
it's like the Goonies.
Yes,
like,
they use their seesaws as like the lever mechanism to open the door in the ground, and then like
after the gear launches, it's very like old school children's mecha anime. Yeah, like summoning your Zord.
Yeah,
literally.
It really is.
And so, and a couple of kids are like, we were pretty good today. I'd give it like a 9.
Yeah, today was a C+.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They use the
And it's a very funny, goofy moment.
Yeah.
That how Billy like has the kids help him, like to give them purpose probably.
So his gear with the gun arms.
Yeah.
Shows up.
Yeah, and
it's a cape.
Yeah, it has a cape, and it uses gun arms, so it's it's pretty cool.
And you get to fight this giant Wells, and you beat it handily.
Yeah, it's not a hard fight if you're smart. Just hit the sucker with their attacks, basically.
Yeah.
But so you defeat it, everything's cool, and we're like, you know what? Billy's like, hey, could you guys take me back to the Ethos headquarters? I need to make my report. And everyone's like, yeah. Sure, buddy.
Here we go. So, as a kid, you're like, because as an adult, this is one of the things that stuck with me from the game. This moment, so I'm like, oh god, Billy, oh god.
Yes.
So,
because this is the beginning of the end for Billy.
As a kid, you're like, man, like I'm really starting to like Billy. He feels like one of the team. I'm glad to have him on board. And so we get back to Ethos headquarters, and this is what. And I'm going to call back to Don again because he just described it so beautifully. This is the beginning of the worst day of Billy Black's life.
Yes.
And when I say worst day, I don't think any other character has had a worse day. And we've already done the Reaper ship, so we can comfortably assume this is after lunch.
Yes,
like
it is, and this.
So this might be the worst afternoon.
Yes.
Of Billy's life,
and it definitely is. I would say, considering what he learns, what he sees. And this moment, this is worse probably for him than the death of his mother in a lot of ways.
So Billy is about to find out that everything he knew is wrong.
Literally everything.
Black is white, left is right, love is hate. Billy, so you get back to Ethos headquarters.
And everyone's dead.
And at first, when you walk in, as a kid, I'm like, you know what, I played a couple JRPGs, I know what this village got burned down. He's going to make an oath. And he's going to make an oath to get revenge, and it's all fine.
We got this.
So you walk in, and Billy immediately freaks out. Which you're like, well, you're not a JRPG character.
Yeah,
surely you saw this coming.
Yeah, you had to know this was going to happen.
Community. This is the
you're a named character. You don't get attached to NPCs, my guy. So this is what happens.
So anyway, this tight knit community of religious folk that Billy has attached himself to and loves and has nurtured his entire life, they are all dead.
Yes, every last one of them has been butchered by assassins.
There's some stragglers that you can get to just in time to watch them die.
Yes. The worst of them is a pontiff who's surrounded by assassins.
Yes. So it's the Pope.
Yeah.
It's the Ethos Pope.
And they tell the assassins are like, we're doing this because you rebelled. This is your fault. And the Pontiff's like, oh fuck, that you know about that.
So this is really important, and it's not something I caught when I was a kid at all. At this moment.
Yeah.
So, but as an adult, it's like, okay, who did they rebel against? Let's see. One tournament over in Kislev.
Yep.
And
they get gears.
They get gears. They give them to both sides. And they
have
got a really
advanced technology in their
advanced
basement.
Who is this mysterious organization above them?
Yes. That also seems to be doing all of these things everywhere else on the planet.
So
yeah,
we're going to get to the bottom of this. So, of course, what is the first thing the party's thinking of when they get in here? They're like, oh, Billy, we're really sorry that your world's falling apart, but our friend is in the ICU downstairs. So, I understand that, you don't really need to help us, but this is a video game, so, like, you kind of want to mosey down there with us.
Yeah, you,
So you fight, and when I say fight, brother, you fight your way to the basement.
It is not, there are scripted fights that you have to get to, like the one with the Pontiff. The assassins liquefy him, and then they attack you, and then there's random battles as well on top of that. And these assassins are a pain.
Yes.
Like, they're not too hard, except that they have a auto kill move. And they basically say, I'll kill you next turn, and then they do that.
So
they're a pain. But you get down to the basement. You can run into like
I don't think Sighton's required for your party for this.
No. You can have whatever party you want. I had Ellie, Bart, and Billy for this. Billy is the only requirement.
Yes. So you get to the basement, and
there's in the basement before things get crazy.
And what's funny is I don't remember this as a kid, and it strongly suggests that my brain was just like, you know what, you're 12, you don't need this.
Delete.
But as an adult, and I mean that, folks, like I don't remember this. When I played through it again, this as an adult, my jaw dropped.
Yeah.
So Billy runs into some familiar faces in the basement.
Yes. Yeah. So, oh god, there's so much that happens here.
Yeah.
So, one person that you run into that you don't know is there's a Shavat person being tortured to death.
Yes.
You can free them.
You have to free them.
Yeah. You pretty much have to. Also, fucking Big Joe's here.
So what's important is there's a Shavat person being held in the basement of a church, being tortured, and when you free him,
he can't speak hardly.
Yeah, but it's clear he's grateful.
Yes,
and that's going to come up again later. So he leaves, and you meet Big Joe, of course, because
of course Big Joe's here.
Of course Big Joe's here, and Big Joe again. I think he's more jovial this time, but he's still too busy really to mess with you.
He's really happy, but what's funny is he literally he literally tells you, he's just like, hey, thanks. You'll get to brag about the fact that you saved me now, and then he leaves, and then that's it. It's like it's the shortest Big Joe encounter, but
one wonders. Saved from what though? Like, and being bored?
Yeah. Because we don't even know why you were here, dude.
Anyway,
so you go to the second basement.
Yes.
And the second basement is where shit gets real.
This is when Billy runs into real familiar faces, and I am jumbled on this part of the game, but I believe this is when he runs into the guys that lay it out for him. Right?
So yeah, that happens. What happens first? That does happen here. What happens first is they go into like a server room.
Oh yeah, I had Sight in my party for this part.
Yeah, he comes in no matter what.
So you get into this room, and this room contains the truth of Ethos.
Yes, it is their data bank. It's everything.
So you probably had Ellie look into it.
Well, so what happens is everyone shows up. Your whole party shows up.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
But
because they need everyone here for the story. So anyway,
but Ellie, if she's in your party, she'll be like, "Holy crap, this is Solarius. This is the language
Solarian,
of Solarian.
Yeah, this is space German."
Yeah, and then everyone shows up. They start diving into it, and this is where it lays it all out at first. And what's going on is the ethos works for Solaris.
So we 500 years ago keeps popping up.
Yes, and this is another moment where 500
So
years.
500 years ago keeps popping up. Sophia lived 500 years ago. And that is when the Nissan sect pretty much changed into the religion it is today.
Yep.
And Ethos was established 500 years ago.
And all of which surrounded a gigantic war.
So I believe, so there was a gigantic war, and this is the first we're hearing about how the Lambs were rebelled against Solaris. And so Solaris survived this war by the skin of their teeth.
Yes. And they wanted to make sure that the lambs could never rebel like that again.
So they pacified them with this religion.
Mm-hmm.
They made up this religion to pacify the lambs.
Yeah.
And that is what the ethos is.
And their job is also to make sure that they're divided by race and creed and everything else.
Basically, every bad thing about society, Solaris forces on society through this church.
Via the ethos, yeah.
And this is why the church collects data on warfare. This is why the church collects gears and distributes them. This is all being fed to Solaris as data. This is a big research thing. And who was in charge of this research, Aaron? We get this really weird name drop.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bishop
that
was collecting a lot of this, and his name is Bishop Shakan.
Yep, Shakan, which is he's in charge of the Ave region, basically, for all they're collecting there. And
so Bart recognizes that.
And Bart doesn't get it. He's like, what? No. He's like, Shakan was excommunicated like 17 years ago.
Yes.
No, he wasn't. Apparently not.
But, well, here's what's interesting is it becomes, I think it becomes clear through this data, right? That basically there's so the purge is being conducted by Solaris.
Yes. And it does. They piece it together.
They piece it together.
Yeah,
I think. I think Satan kind of leaves them breadcrumbs.
Yeah, because he gets into it. He like hacks into the mainframe,
and you know Satan's been like, oh yes, the Emperor mentioned something about this happening.
Yeah. He
you know he is.
It's so funny because at one point when everyone's like, oh my God, the ethos is a front. This whole thing has been a Solaris puppet, and Satan literally is in the background. He like literally goes, the plot thickens. It's like, Satan, shut up. Just shut up. If you're not going to contribute to this. But he pulls it up, and they find out that the entirety of the ethos, everything was under the direct control of the Gazelle Ministry.
Yes.
Which Illy is the one who exclaims, like, holy fuck, that is the highest level of Solarian government.
Yes.
But the everything deviated. Everything changed with the 44th Salvage Plan, which is the salvage plan that the captain of the Thames was talking about, how they got the big one from Ethos. And this was the moment the Ethos decided, like the way we're told is...
They're holding out on Solaris.
Yes. And what we're told basically is that the Ethos started believing its own hype. And they decided, you know what, we don't need Solaris. We're going to break away from Solaris and do our own thing. And Solaris is like, nah.
But that last one of those, but there's been a few data dumps where Solaris is like, feels a little light.
Yeah.
Feels a little high. What's going on down there?
And ever since Keslev, the freaking Gazelle Ministry has been a little purge happy.
Well, Kislev, they're kind of like, do we need him?
Yeah.
Do we need him?
Well, now they're like, man, do we need Ethos that controls the entire world force? Fuck, we don't need it. We don't need these. We know where all the crap is. We know where the relics are, right? Well, some of them. We got this.
So whatever those relics are.
Yeah, we don't know about that yet. They're thingies.
So anyway, to sum up, they used religion to pacify humanity for 500 years.
Yep.
Religion started to be like, well, why don't we pacify humanity on our own? And that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So
we should be in
not gonna
charge.
tell them that. So
yeah. At this point, everyone starts to leave. You get confronted by the same dude.
Let's just go over Billy's scorecard for the day.
Yeah. This is his day.
Everyone he loves is dead.
Yep.
And the religion that he's dedicated his life to is a big old fat lie.
Everything's a lie.
And in the back of his head, probably festering somewhere is, oh my god, Jesse's probably right.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he's probably right.
Crap, he's right.
He's probably right.
This isn't good. So the guy who gave Billy crap earlier in the game about how Jesse was doing stuff, that dude shows up again.
And Billy has a brief moment where he's kind of like, oh, thank God,
yeah, he's like,
someone I know. You survived. And Billy is like, what is going on? It's like, Billy, you know what's going on, bud.
This guy here...
But Billy is just desperate. He's reaching out to someone and being like, tell me it's all fake.
Yes.
Where's Dad? I mean, no, fuck it. Where's Dad?
Yeah.
Where's my dad? My real dad. And this guy sees Billy crawling towards him, begging for some hope, some glimmer that maybe his life hasn't been a lie. Maybe there's some reasonable explanation for everything that happened. This guy takes a look at Billy and goes, let's make this worse.
Yeah, let's make this worse. He's like, I'm a spy for Solaris.
He's like, so
I'm leading this whole purge.
This is me.
Yeah.
This is me. I killed all those people. Did they liquefy the Pope like I told him to?
Yes.
I told him to liquefy the
I
Pope.
told him to. That's so
I
grisly,
told him to
too.
wait for you.
He literally fucking liquefies.
So,
But
this guy's basically like, Billy, you actually, we're used to, getting people in here. But people catch on quick. Billy, your poor, stupid soul actually believed all this. He's like, none of us other ones did.
Yeah.
Billy,
We were all in on
always
it.
been a sham. We've
Yeah.
always been on it. And, by the way, your job, the job we have you do, the Reaper in the Wells thing, guess what that is, Billy?
Yeah. And this is where it gets even worse.
And this is a blur for me as a kid because it was just too much.
Yeah.
It was too much. This is like,
I mean,
when we talk about the wall of text
Yeah.
in Xenogears, this is the worst offender in the game so far,
yeah, this one.
but also the best.
Yes. So this one here, it's pretty much exactly like you said. He really sums it up that no one else actually believed this crap. Only
And
Billy truly
He's
believed it.
clearly relishing
Yes.
and rubbing it.
And he goes in on it. He talks about how but this purge was all you people deserve to die. The Ethos deserved what we did to it, and the reason why, another bomb, is he tells us that the freaking priests, the bishops, the pontiff, all of them, all these people all these kids that Billy was helping all the time, bringing to the orphanage and saving, they were being used to satisfy desires.
Yeah, and this was 1998, by the way.
Yeah.
There were a lot of accusations of the Catholic Church at this point, but it had not blown up into the national news story that we know now quite yet. It was breaking at that time. Of course, there had been accusations for
Ever,
decades.
probably,
But so this is a big thing for a video. What at the time was a AAA video game. This is a big thing to be in this. So and that's not it. I believe this is the guy that drops the bomb about the Reapers in the Wells, isn't he?
Well, he starts to.
Oh, that's right.
And then Stone shows up and kills him, just shoots him dead.
And so now
Stone is he's like, you were going to steal my thunder?
And that's what's it. No, Billy is at midnight.
Yeah.
He's at midnight, and he starts to see the sun rise. And the sun goes, "Oh, Billy, my child, you didn't wear any sunblock, my child." Because Stone is like, "How dare you? This was my moment. I've raised this child to ruin everything for him."
He's like, don't you take this away from me.
And so Billy, this is it. This is it. Because this is Stone. This is everything good in the world.
Yeah, and he's totally different. His attitude's 180. He's very arrogant.
It's very important to note that his character portrait is still the same.
Yeah. And
for now,
So
he's
but he lays a couple bombs on us. He kills the one dude, and he's going in on it. He's like you just don't understand it. And we learned that the Inquisitor that was helping Keslev, that was him. The secret thing that we get that hint of when we first went to Keslev, that was him. That was part of his doing behind the scenes with Ethos. And we learn here because he wants to unveil this beautiful gem about the Reapers to Billy, and he starts to, but then Jesse interrupts him. And we learn that Stone's real name is Stein, because again, German.
Well, what's funny is his name's always been Stein. Stein is the German word for stone. So it's just another one of those, I'm not Jesse, I'm Jesiah. I'm not. My favorite is still Sigurd. Is I'm not Sigurd, I'm
Sigurd.
Yeah.
I'm not here to be creative,
Sigurd. So anyway, Jesse shows up, and so Bishop Stone has always, when he was acting like he was benevolent, he was always very calm. In this moment when he was overruling Billy, he was, I seem to have the last laugh here. And then he sees Jesse.
Yeah.
And he's not fucking calm anymore.
Yeah.
Because this man hates Josiah Black.
Yes.
This man hates him with every fiber of his being. And we're soon to find out that everything Stone has done
is all because of that.
All because of how much he hates Jesse.
Yes.
So anyway, and Jesse knows this.
Yes. Oh, he knows damn well.
He's the coolest fucking character in the game.
I love it. But as soon as Jesse shows up, pretty much, Stone decides to bail. He gets in some kind of giant gear and heads off.
After we clearly see how much it's just, I can't fucking stand you,
yes.
motherfucker.
And they kind of piece it together, what's going on, and that is that the Ethos people that are Solaris loyal are heading to the Thames. They're going to destroy the Thames because this is a full purge. Everyone who is tied to Ethos is dead.
Yep.
And the gang's like, holy fuck, we need to rush off. And so they make their way to start going to the Thames. And then that's actually where I threw the cut for this particular one. Right in the juicy center.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's good right now. You did well.
It gets even crazier
You did well.
next time.
So,
yeah, it's nuts. And this game is like, it is not pulling any punches in any way, shape, or form anymore.
So, folks, tune in next week. By the way, before we go to that, I do want to apologize for last week. We had a bye week. Aaron and I we had a lot of shit going on, guys.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a ton.
But now I think we've left you on a really good cliffhanger because I kind of can't stand stopping. So I know you guys will be looking forward to it. So do all the things that normally happen in a call to action. Like, subscribe, hit the bell.
Yep. Check out Discord if you want to chat with us.
Check out Discord. Become a fan. Join the community. Comment on the videos. We're glad to be back after our second bye week. I think we've taken.
Yeah. It tends to happen. Adult life. It sucks.
Tends to happen in adult life. It sucks, but it's part of it. So, guys, we will see you later.
Yep. Have a good one.